Bonds of Agony is one of the new cards, see what I did there, out of Part the Mistveil. And I'm calling it right now, this card is going to put some players on full tilt. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast. And thanks so much for hanging out with me on your Part the Mistveil release weekend. That's right. I hope as you've been cracking, ripping, and tearing, as it may be, that you've been getting everything that you need. I myself have a cart full over at Fab Foundry ready to buy from Travis. Unfortunately, one of the cards I'm after is already sold out. That's okay. I'm sure he'll have a restock soon. And by the way, if you head over there, make sure to use my code below because that's how I can fill up my cart and do all that stuff. But that's right. Today I'm talking about Bonds of Agony. Now, I am prepared to make a statement. I think that this is arguably one of the most potentially disrupting cards to hit Flesh and Blood. Okay, so Bonds of Agony, stealth card, Majestic was only in the blue, 0/1. Okay, but we all know that for Assassins, a 1 isn't necessarily a 1. Right? But if you've played or activated 3 or more attack reactions as Chain Link, this gets +3. And when this hits a hero, look at their hand and choose a card. Search their hand, deck, and graveyard and banish up to 3 cards with the same name as the chosen. They shuffle. All right, so just to put this in perspective, right? If you have the wrong card in your hand at the time that your opponent plays this on you, and you're facing a Bonds of Agony, you basically have to get that card out of your hand in order to prevent yourself from not losing all copies of your key card. Right, so for example, say you're Boltyn and you have a Lumina Ascension in your hand. If you don't get rid of that Lumina Ascension, they can potentially strip the other Lumina Ascensions that you have in your deck. Now, it doesn't, your arsenal's still protected, to be clear here, right? And, you know, that's why the Boltyn case comes to my mind first. A lot of times you're like, all right, I have Lumina in arsenal, I've got a Lumina in hand, and now I'm ready to go. Now, sure, maybe it doesn't line up like that, but you see the point I'm driving at, right? Now, and it's not just necessarily the key cards, right? Your Blood Rush Bellows, your Lumina Ascensions, other stuff out there to where folks need those key cards and able to enable their combo stuff. Very, very, very high risk of taking the hit here. And yeah, I think you have to throw it, right? Art of War. You have an Art of War in hand. You have to play Art of War to do a defensive buff and draw, hoping that you don't lose your Art of War and thus maybe drawing and putting other cards at risk. That's potential as well, right? But you have to get that stuff out of your hand so you don't just lose your game if that's your combo. Okay. Now, let's say that you aren't like a deck that's specifically dependent on one card, right? Let's say you're like a warrior or something like that, right? Tons and tons and tons of excellent pieces at your disposal, but you're often playing reds and blues, sometimes red, blues, and yellows, like in the warrior case, like Blade Runner. They can go get 3 of them out of your deck. Okay. And to be fair, they can't get 3 of them out of your deck. That's a misnomer in what I just said, right? So there has to be 1 in the hand. And then, so it's look at their hand and choose a card, search their hand, deck, and graveyard, and banish up to 3, right? So the card has to be in their hand, just to be clear, card has to be in their hand, and then you choose 3 cards out of their hand, deck, and graveyard. So it would be card from hand plus 2 in deck, right, in that case. Or sure, they can, you know, chuck 1 from your graveyard in your banish zone, whatever, which in the new case puts it available. Now, the counter argument on this card, right, is that 3 attack reactions, at least on the surface, is hard to accomplish in terms of what you have to have available. But then again, you remember that this is an assassin card, and that's kind of what they do, right? So first off, you have the equipment suite, you have Redback Shroud, you have the Black Tech Boots, and then you have Flick Knives, right? And I think Flick Knives is a major, major, major player in the cards like Bonds of Agony or Double Trouble, right? To where you're trying to get multiple hits, okay? You also have, so any of those are just on board to be used when you need this, right? The Flick Knives thing, especially if you're flicking the D-React dagger, that's an extra, you know, little twist of the dagger in this case, so to speak. But you also have an absolutely amazing attack reaction suite for the ninja, or for the, for the assassins. You have Shred, which watch your temper pieces, kids, We have the absolutely incredible My Spoiler card, Just a Nick. Absolutely phenomenal for this. Just make it a casual 6. No problem there. There's one. You flick a knife for another one. Give it React or Pop Shroud. Pop Shroud as a React to give yourself the money you need to pay for a 1-cost React. Oh my goodness. Remember that you've got the Spike series that plays with this. You have Razor's Edge is the 0-3. I mean, you actually don't have enough room in your deck as an assassin to play all of the good stuff. You also have Concealed Blade, which again, back to my Flick Knives argument, Concealed Blade is an absolutely phenomenal card, which I think is a little underplayed in these classes right now. And and by these classes, I do mean Ninja as well, in the fact that it's just it can refill your Flick Knives, which is awesome, but it's just a functionally better lunging press that defends for 1 more. The amazing, amazing, amazing card. I do actually currently play it in my Arachnea ASC deck. And then, of course, so that what I just said is for all the assassins. Now we're talking just new. If you want to go and talk new, well, she has Venomous Bite, which then pulls the Fang Strike. Assuming you've, done the thing, but you have, because you're doing it on this. So that's 2 reacts right there out of hand. And then you just need to flick a knife and everything's on board that you have. So that's pretty not hard to do, right? And you're going up against right now what the super popular thing out there right now is Zen with, Bond Zen. Well, he's playing Rainbow Bonds. Well, go pull 3 of them. There's no lack of them. They don't have to go target the graveyard thing. Pretty good. So I do think that this card, I want to be very clear here. In no way am I'm excited for this card. I think this card is doing what it's supposed to do. I think it's designed within its thing. In no way am I saying that this card needs to be banned or anything like that. That is not in any sense or word what I'm saying. But I am saying that at some point, somebody's going to get really pissed off that you took away all their toys. And then you probably did it again. They're going to get really, really, really pissed off. So I promise you at some point, you're going to see you're going to see a tweet or a rant on the Facebook or something like that on how this card is oppressive because it cakes down combo decks or something like that. And I think that's the point. But there's no denying that this is an extremely, extremely potentially disruptive card. So anyway, that's my piece. The card is currently selling for, I think, 12 or so. We'll see what it ends up after this weekend, after everybody gets done doing their stuff. Seems like an assassin staple to me. So anyway, that's my piece today. This card is real dirty. And go Commando.